we had these strong families and these strong, especially Black families, because I'm an advocate for that. And I can only speak to that because, I'm a African American woman. I just, I just feel we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Dear baby mama, this a letter to you. This shit coming from the heart, this ain't coming from Zoo.
Spencer said, most of the men that I've dealt with, fathers are absent, or they have very strained relationships with them. They're not healthy relationships if they do know their father.
Right. Well, I feel like another a new role that has came upon us when it comes to men and women is phones. That always kind of get to me. There's nothing wrong being on your phone, but now when things are being missed, being on your phone and priorities are not being fulfilled, see that, that it's
the conversations is not a conversation at all.
Right.
People don't know how to carry on a conversation.
Right. I mean, just give or take, you can be in a relationship with someone on the phone for 6 to 7 hours.
And you breathing. And y'all breathing. It's no conversation.
I'm sitting on the phone with nobody for 6 or 7 hours and they breathing.
No, I'm not even talking about talking. They can be looking at social media or watching the show that we're talking about now, but it's a series of them. And there's no limitations now. People think that's a new role now, for the exception of, facilitating the household, especially if you have children in your household. Things are being forgotten because of, modern day technology. And, so you got to take that in consideration. Back then you didn't have that luxury, to look upon those things or, it's just something to think about.
No, that's a very good point because we do have to consider that. I'm an 80s baby. I didn't grow up with the internet for a good portion of my, young life. We didn't have cell phones. So we were forced to interact with our counterparts, our family. We were forced to go out and meet people. Nowadays, we don't do that. Everything is through this.
Yeah.
And so as far as social skills, has that gone down tremendously? Yes. I mean, I look at my own children. I really have to drill in them like, no, we need to sit and have a conversation, and that's sad because everybody's like that. Their generation's like that. The generation before them is like that. So you're right. I mean, when we start introducing technology into relationships, social media can kill a relationship.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. Yeah, I mean, you have to have a strong mind, a tough skin to live in this world nowadays,
Right.
And that's why I love what we do. I mean, because we try to, deliver these, awareness to give people something to think about. There's nothing wrong, with living, but you got to still have a sense of discipline too, to, respect each other when you're in a relationship. Hey, I fold clothes too. I wash dishes and sometimes I cook, whether I'm by myself or in a relationship. Those things are not hard, speaking for myself to do because I've been raised a certain way. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't have that experience. So now when you meet somebody, that role is taught upon them. Now, do y'all feel like, with that being said, do people tend to gravitate to the fact that, I have, my fiance in my life, he knows how to do this and I need to, do you think men or women challenge themselves to learn new roles in their relationship to better so it won't be so one-sided, so that one individual won't do all, do y'all feel like they, does that exist?
No.
No? Why not?
Next question. I mean, if if that was true, we would not be having this conversation.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be single. I don't know if Jason's married.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
See, but you like, I feel that I wouldn't be single. I wouldn't be a divorcee. It wouldn't have took Tisha this long to find a partner. I just feel that that's just, I mean,
The longer the better.
I mean, yeah, that is true, but I'm
Longer the
just
better.
saying, but honestly, no, I don't feel that people take a lot of effort, time, patience, and consideration when it does go into, okay, let's talk about these things. Let's work together.
Well, if I have, let's say I get in a relationship, right? I'm dating this person, and now we done move on to the point where we're fixing to possibly get married and stuff like this. If she's better at something, and she has a certain skill set that she's better than me at, then I'm gonna take it into consideration. I'm gonna try to.
What?
I'm gonna try to. But
why is Tisha being so shady?
No, I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna learn, like if she's a better financial person than I am, then I'm gonna make sure to get myself acclimated. Okay, she's good at this. I need to follow suit. I need to follow what she's doing.
Now, are you saying that you are that person, or are you saying that you're just giving?
I'm just giving an example. Like if
well, the reason why I'm asking you, because I'm asking you, are you personally saying that you are this type of man that you would do that?
No, I'm not. I'm just talking
because the only reason why I'm trying to ask this and get it clear is because if it's you, you are you. So, but that doesn't mean the next man is going to be like that. Because
but I'm speaking on awareness, just to give it some type of consideration. Because if I feel like I can learn something from someone else, that is positive, something that can help, me as individuals and make me a stronger individual to, to benefit both of us, then I'm gonna do that. That's how I look at things.
It's possible to learn from someone else. I mean, if that person is up to making changes, compromising.
Yeah.
Some people.
I mean, we learn from, and you're right. I mean, we do. I've learned from my parents.
My mother couldn't cook. I mean, she learned from my stepfather that raised me. He was a better cook than her, and then she ended up cooking all the time. But when they, initially when they met each other, I mean, he taught her.
Same here. I didn't when I got married. I was young. I did not know how to cook because my mother does not know how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
But my ex-husband taught me how to cook, and I took off. So
yeah, you see how that works. But see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I was an individual who was willing. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be a better wife. I wanted to be a better woman. I wanted to be a better mother. It's just, like I said, some people, I ran with it, but that doesn't mean that the other person will run with it. And that's the problem, because I'm not meeting personally someone who's also willing to learn and change and be better and grow together. You see what I'm saying? They're stuck in their ways. They think that they can't do no wrong. They're gold. So that's a problem, because nobody's perfect. We all can use.
It gets to the point where you compromise, you have the discussion, and then that don't, go well, then you move on. Like you said. Just that simple. But you're giving it a chance. You had to talk, the communication. That's when you see we come back into the phase of communicating. Now, once you get through that phase and there's nothing there, I mean, then you do as you will. Yeah. So that's what it is.
So, next question.
Jason? No.
I feel like Jason should give us, since he is a married man, I don't know how long you've been married, but I love to see relationships, and I love to see healthy relationships. No matter if you've been married 2 seconds or 25, 30 years, you always can learn. Like you said, you can learn from people, and you can learn, like, maybe I need to switch up on this, or yeah, I never considered that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm curious, like,
What are you curious about? What you want to know?
how do you feel about roles between, or how do you and your wife handle that?
Well, Tisha said it better. I know such thing as 50-50. It's always 100%. And basically you get what you put in. And in order to make that happen, the best thing you have is communication. That's the number one thing you can have. I mean, if you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. I mean, you sit here running wild, doing what you want to do with money and stuff like that. And that's one problem. Like at the beginning stages, like I was kind of wild, hanging out, like buying dumb stuff. And I'm also a gamer too, so I used to like buy stupid, crazy games and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And when it come to bills, I'll be like, man, I'll pay that later. I'll be late, whatever, blah. And that kind of, she's about to do me like Phil throwing out Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince. So I just had to learn, she taught me how to, budget my money and stuff like that. And I became better with money and stuff like that. I mean, you young, making money and not really having a responsibility at the time. I mean, really didn't get really like big with responsibility yet. But it's like I was just running around. But like, again, I was taught, I learned, and I got better with it. So, but on top of that, you got to have the communication, man. You can't just be quiet and letting your, significant others run wild with the money for responsibilities, not taking care of it and stuff like that. So learning process, man, but it's not bad being in prison. I mean, married.
Oh no.
And you know what? And that's the crazy thing that you said that, because for me, I don't want any relationship, be it a friendship, relationship with my children, family, or a spouse or partner. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to feel like that. I know you're going to have those times where it's going to be a struggle because that's just life. But I don't want to ever feel that I am imprisoned. I've felt that before.
And I don't know. I was joking when I said that.
Yeah, I know you was joking, but but it's a good point to bring up, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are in relationships and they feel like they're in prison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's sad. I mean,
that's come from being scared to, voice your opinion. Mm-hmm. Just sit back and be quiet and just go through it. I mean, if you don't like something or you don't like what's going on, you gotta speak up. Maybe you gotta communicate, work on it to change, And if it never changed at the year, it's probably trying to start thinking about something else. But you gotta understand, like a lot of people, a lot of men, they look at the fact that the woman got the power. They got the kids. Oh, she's gonna drag me in court. Or this and that. That's how some guys think. I'm telling you. I'm just being honest. That's how some guys think. So they look at that and they be like, "Well, I'm gonna have to tough it out."
Mm-hmm. What they say?
That's a whole nother discussion.
That what they say.
Yeah.
That what they say.
It's cheaper to keep her. That is a whole nother subject. But I hear you. I mean,
because I feel men do get taken advantage of with the child support situation.
Man, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
I think I want to chime in on this one.
He just talked
I mean,
about
you got some fellas out there that take care of their children, man, like outright, but they still get taken
Still
advantage of
get
because of the
dragged.
way the system is set up. You
Well,
know,
and you're
tailored
right.
to the woman, and that's
But
not cool.
but the
I would never
system is
go.
needed, though. I will say
It's
this.
needed.
Yes.
It's needed, but the system needs to be corrected.
Yeah, it's needed for some of them
Because
jokers out
right
there.
now the system is built for your woman.
Yeah.
And that's unfair because, like I say, you got a good dude, 10 kitty kids, and she want to go be petty because she's unhappy with something he did, and
I need the money on my time.
Yeah, like and it's messed up. And then you think, and that was like another discussion we had before, like last week or something, 2 weeks ago. It was like, and that was like, I know I'm off subject a little bit when I say this, but that was like I was asking them.
That's cool. We can edit and slice into another show.
No, but it was like it was like when it come to that, that's plays a part in why the domestic violence rates are up in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Because some men can't handle it. They going to go buck wild and want to put their hands on women and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it's all women's fault because it's not.
Yeah. Well, the system's set up that way because they get their percentage. You know what I mean? They get the state get their cut. Right. People don't realize that.
But you gotta be. You realize, like, just say a man is fighting for custody for his child, right? Mm-hmm. I think personally, man, the woman got to be on crack for you get your child.
No.
Well, I haven't, man.
Gotta have your duckies in the room.
That don't matter. That don't matter.
Most men don't know. Listen, it's a lot of men that are on child support that don't know how the system works and don't know that they can get over if the woman is in the wrong. It's a way to prove that now.
What are you going to do?
It is a way to prove that. Listen, I got, and Adrian, you know who I talking about. What's his name?
You don't have to call no names.
No, I ain't gonna call no names, but it's Adrian's friend. It's Adrian's friend, and him and the mother is normally on good terms, right? She's married now, but before she got married, it was him getting his daughter all the time. We're not talking about every weekend or every other weekend. He has this child as if the child lives with him. Mm-hmm. But guess what? He still pays child support. Yeah. But he sees his child. Listen now, he sees the daughter and does a lot for the daughter as if she lives with him. So it got to the point where, she's at the age now where she's a preteen. Mm-hmm. I think at the time she was 10, 11. He said Austin is 10. At the time, I think she was approaching 11 years old. She's a little older now. So it got to the point where he had to have that conversation with the mother, like, okay, listen, I have her at my house all the time. I make sure she's fed, make sure she has clothes, make sure she gets to school, make sure she comes home from school, and I take her to you. So it's a back and forth thing, but mainly that little girl is at his house. Mm-hmm. So he asked her, is it possible that I can get taken off of child support and just do what I already was doing because the child is getting taken care of? Mm-hmm. Because technically the child support is not going to that little girl. It's going to the mother to pay her damn bills. Because if she's at my house and I'm taking care of her, she sees daddy more than she sees mama, then technically I don't need to be paying your bills if she's not going to be living it. So now that she's married, I don't know what the situation is like now because I haven't spoken to him, but I think it was a battle on him getting off of child support, and she's married, so no, but I think he's off. No, but I think he's off now. But I think he's off now because him and her husband had a conversation, and the husband. By
the way, I have no idea who she's talking about.
Oh, but you know what?
That's either
real.
here or there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say nothing.
But you know, you do have
about that. I can't. I'm too involved in that situation with my personal. So I just feel that it would be too biased. And but that's just, but I do believe that, yeah, our system is broken, but all systems are broken. Judicially, all systems are broken. Child support is just one of those systems that's broken, but I do think that child support is there to help those children or those mothers to help raise those children. Yes, do we have women out here who
abuse the hell out of it?
Yeah, and who do it? I mean, of course. That's with everything. We got people that's on food stamps that don't need to be on food stamps. I mean, so yes.
You saw them stamps, so.
Yeah, when we gonna get some food
or some gas, or some gas.
I'm gonna single I'm gonna get some food stamps.
But why is this though? Like, it's like, why do the woman gets the support she need, but if the man was in that position, they don't get that support they need?
Well, that's false. I worked in family court.
I worked in family court. For what I see and learn. Like,
that's because of what you've seen. But just like Tisha said before, men need to start educating themselves, because because just as how I can go to the family court and file for child support or go to child support enforcement through DSS, men can do the same thing. You got a trifling behind mama, you can go do the same thing. I've worked in the court system. I've seen it. There's plenty of men out here who have custody of their children, and
the mama getting child support,
and the mother's paying child support.
It's kind of hard though, because if they split, the custody automatically goes to the mother.
That's
right,
not necessarily
until she's proven.
That's not necessarily true.
Until she's proven that it's a different situation, and if you're not given that hardcore evidence in that situation where that child needs to be with you, then they're gonna automatically let that child go with the system. You got to know your part,
right? But why the system can't be built off the fact that why they can't go off stability? You know, why
they can't go off the stability, but you got to show that. You got to show that. Off
stability because you can. Go ahead, Spencer.
I'm on child support. My daughter 9 years old. I was in the father program right here in South Carolina, right? And they show us everything and educate us how we can beat the system of child support, whatever. But though, at the end of the day, the system is built to tear down the black man. I mean, hands down, because they are afraid of us. Child support, that's a whole business by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I will agree to that degree, but I think the whole system, judicial system, is there to, you know, to beat down Black people in general, especially Black men. So, I mean, I do agree with that. But then I also feel like this too. There are situations where they need to be put on child support. I mean, I'm not going to say that, oh, it's all bad and nobody. No, there are situations where you have fathers out here who are successful, can financially take care of their children, and they just refuse not to do that for whatever reason. So yes, that woman has every right to go to that resource and try to, and that's sad because no mother should have to do that and no father should have to do that. But I'm sorry, we have men out here that are just
no. But see, sometimes the man will sit down with the mother and say, "Hey, we will come up with this plan, whatever. I'm gonna come up my pocket and give you X, Y, and Z." No, I don't want that. I want more than that. Sometimes the women be greedy.
Yeah, that's what she's saying though. You got the man that's up and willing to do, but then when you have a trifling female that is the mother of your kids, it's not making it harder. So of course it's not making it easier for them. So that's why you as a man need to go in and know exactly what it is that you need to do to beat that.
I will say this. I have met more trifling women.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about on a professional level because I worked in the court system and personally than I did the men. So you can't say, well, it's just the women that's, no, there's women that are trifling too, that like you said, Spence, they take advantage of those men. They know those men are good fathers and that they would never, ever not do for their child. And that woman knows that. So she takes advantage of that situation. And yes, it happens all the time. We even have the women who you came to agreement, you didn't have to go to court or anything. Well, now this guy has found another mate. Now she's upset because he's moved on. He has this, so
it's bad.
Again, you know, what in America is perfect when it comes to our legal system, the school system, financial? Nothing is perfect. It's always going to be those anomalies everywhere. So unfortunately, that's just life. Is it right? No, it's not. But because we have these few bad apples here and there, we're going to punish all the women and children, because especially the children that need that help. No. So that's my take on that.
All right. Well, with all that being said, do y'all feel like they need to change something in the system when it comes to dictating or making a decision on who should have custody of the child or who should pay child support?
Absolutely. I just watched a documentary tonight while I was working and this happened back in the early 2000s. And these were white folks. These were white folks. And the girlfriend killed her boyfriend, flew to Canada, and she was, for whatever, because it's Canada, America, and she wasn't, it was a huge mess legally with extradition to the United States. And while she was out in Canada, well, his family found out she was pregnant with his baby. And so now you have this situation where she is an attempted, she is a
murderer.
Accused, because she hadn't went to court. So she was an accused murderer. But now she's pregnant with their grandchild. Well, these grandparents were put in this position where now legally they were trying to fight custody for this grandchild. And it was a whole mess legally. They had to share the visitation with an accused murder. This woman killed their son. And so they went through all this entanglement within the judicial system between the United States and Canada. And then now the child turns 1 year old. This woman is crazy. The courts gave custody back to this woman. They let her out. They let her out of jail twice on bail. And this woman ended up killing the child.
Hold on, I missed the last part.
Yes.
Who killed herself? The woman ended up killing the child.
Oh man.
So yes, is our systems broke? Yes, they're broken. Do we need to revamp and look at the laws and books and things? Yes, because there is no reason why this woman, one, was never extradited back to the United States. That's number one. Number two, she should have never been granted bail twice, not once, twice.
Wow.
And then when she got out, she was able to get custody back of her child. This is an accused murderer
with a crazy mental state.
So is our system broken? Yes, it's broken. It infuriates me. So yes, you're right. Those laws definitely need to be revamped. Matter of fact, just throw them all out and let's start all over again. We're talking about laws that have been on the books since America was founded. Many of these laws are so outdated.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need them. They need to be revamped. So yes, I do agree with you on that. When it comes to custody and child support and all those things, definitely.
Dear baby mama, this a letter to you. This shit coming from the heart, this ain't coming from Zoo. Man, I feel like a fool for clean, like a fool, but know you were with true.